Madame Gold's voice filled the entire compound like thunder. She stood in the middle of the yard, her wrapper loose around her waist, her eyes red like fire. In her hand, she held a thick wooden stick, waving it in the air like a mad woman. But what happened next? Nobody expected. 3 months earlier, the compound at number 14 Bomba Street, Freetown, was a place of fear and tears. Madame Gold owned the big house, with 12 rooms. She rented them to poor people who needed somewhere to stay. But Madame Gold was not a kind woman. She was wicked. Very, very wicked. Sister Comfort had 3 children. Her husband died 2 years ago. She struggled every day to feed her family. One month, Sister Comfort could only pay half the rent. She came to Madame Gold with the money and tears in her eyes. "Madame, please, my son is sick. I used some of the money for hospital. Next week, I will complete it. I promise on my children's life." Madame Gold looked at the money in Sister Comfort's hand. Then she spat on the ground. "You think I am running a charity? You think I care about your sick picking?" Madame Gold grabbed Sister Comfort's hair, an old man who drove a taxi. Mr. Johnson had lived in the compound for 8 years. He always paid his rent on time, never caused trouble, and helped other tenants when they needed it. But one day, Mr. Johnson's taxi broke down. He spent all his money fixing it so he could continue working. When rent day came, he was short by 20,000 leons. "Madame Gold," he said respectfully, removing his cap, "I have lived here for 8 years. I have never failed you. Please, give me just 1 week. My taxi is fixed now. I will work and pay you everything." Madame Gold laughed in his face. 8 years? So what? You think that means you can stay for free? Old man, you are very stupid. Go. Rent was expensive everywhere in Freetown. They were trapped like rats in a cage. One day, Sister Comfort would whisper to the other tenants, "One day, God will punish that woman." But days became weeks. Weeks became months, and Madame Gold only got worse. Then, on a hot Tuesday morning, everything changed. A girl came to look at room 10, the small room at the back of the compound. She was alone, carrying only one small bag. She looked about 20 years old, but her eyes looked older, like she had seen many things in life. "I am Amina," she told Madame Gold. "I need a room. I can pay 6 months in advance." Madame Gold's eyes grew wide. 6 months in advance? Nobody had ever paid that much at once before. She smiled. "I will take it," she said. She counted out the money right there, clean new notes. Madame Gold's hands shook as she took it. She couldn't believe her luck. "You are welcome to this compound," Madame Gold said sweetly. "If you need anything, just call me. I am like a mother to all my tenants." Sister Comfort heard this and almost laughed out loud. "Mother?" Madame Gold was like a mother, the way a snake is like a pet. For the first 2 weeks, Amina was quiet. She went out early in the morning and came back late at night. Nobody knew where she went or what she did. She greeted everyone politely but never stopped to talk. "That girl is strange," the tenants whispered among themselves, her face peaceful. "Yes, Madame Gold?" "I need to inspect my room." Madame Gold pushed past her inside. She looked around, touching things, throwing things aside. "What is this? You are burning candles in my room? Do you want to burn down my house?" There were no candles anywhere. Madame Gold was lying. "I don't burn candles, madame," Amina said quietly. "Are you calling me a liar?" Madame Gold's voice rose. "You small girl, are you calling me a liar in my own house?" The other tenants heard shouting and came outside to watch. They knew what was coming. They had seen this before. Madame Gold was about to destroy another person's life. "Madame, I am not calling you a liar," Amina said, still calm. "I am just saying I don't use candles. You can check everywhere." "Shut up!" Madame Gold slapped Amina across the face. The compound went silent. Nobody had ever seen Amina angry before. Was when Amina caught her hand in mid-air. Madame Gold tried to pull away, but couldn't. Amina's grip was like iron, like stone. No matter how Madame Gold twisted and pulled, she could not free her hand. "Let me go," Madame Gold screamed. Let me go, or I will call the police. I will make them lock you up forever. Call them, Amina said. Her voice was still quiet, but now there was something else in it. Something that made everyone watching feel afraid. Please, call them right now. Madame Gold pulled out her phone with her free hand and dialed. Inspector Bangora, come quickly to my house. A mad girl is attacking me. She wants to kill me. Come now with your men. She hung up and smiled at Amina with evil in her eyes. Sister Comfort whispered to the woman beside her. That girl is going to suffer now. The police will beat her. They will lock her up and throw away the key. I feel sorry for her, another tenant replied. She seems like a nice girl. But nobody can defeat Madame Gold. Nobody. Soon, they heard the sound of a vehicle. Inspector Bangora's pickup truck stopped outside the compound gate. 3 policemen jumped out, all of them big and mean-looking. They carried batons and moved like soldiers, going to war. That small girl. She attacked me in my own house. She tried to kill me. Look at my hand. See how red it is. She nearly broke my bones. Inspector Bangora looked at Amina. He expected to see fear in her eyes. He expected her to start begging and crying. But Amina just stood there, arms folded across her chest, that same small smile on her face. You, Inspector Bangora said, walking toward her with his chest pushed out. What is your name? Amina. Amina what? Full name. Just Amina. That is all you need to know. The other policemen gasped. Nobody talked to Inspector Bangora like that. Not in Freetown, not anywhere. Inspector Bangora's face turned red with anger. Then she looked up at Inspector Bangora. Her smile grew wider. I am giving you one chance, she said quietly. Let me go now, apologize, and leave this compound. If you do that, I will forget everything that happened here today. Inspector Bangora laughed so hard his belly shook. You hear this small girl? She's threatening me, Inspector Bangora, the same man who has locked up armed robbers and murderers. You think you can threaten me? He moved closer to Amina's face. Let me tell you something, small girl. Where you are going, there is no window, there is no bed, just cold floor and rats. Nobody could explain properly. Even years later when they told the story, Amina twisted her body in a way that seemed impossible. The 2 officers holding her suddenly flew backward through the air and crashed into the compound wall. They fell down and did not get up. Inspector Bangora reached for his baton. But before his hand could touch it, Amina was standing in front of him. She didn't walk. She didn't run. She just appeared there, like magic. She grabbed his uniform with one small hand and lifted him off the ground. Amina said. Her voice was not loud, but everyone heard it clearly. You take her money and do her dirty work. You arrest people who have done nothing wrong. You put them in cells and make their families suffer. You think because you have a uniform, you are above the law? She shook him like a mother shaking a naughty child. You are a disgrace to your uniform, a disgrace to your position, a disgrace to justice itself. Then she threw him. Not hard, but far. Inspector Bangora flew through the air and landed in the big gutter at the edge of the compound. The gutter was full of dirty water and waste. He splashed into it and came up. But you couldn't let that happen, could you? You had to start your nonsense. You had to show me that you are the landlady, that you have power here. She walked toward Madame Gold slowly. Each step made Madame Gold move backward. Let me tell you something about power, Madame Gold. Real power is not in shouting. It is not in beating people weaker than you. It is not in using police to terrorize innocent people. Real power is in knowing when to be strong and when to be kind. And you have never learned that lesson. Madame Gold's legs were shaking so badly she could barely stand. For the first time in many years, she was crying real tears, not fake tears to trick people. Inspector Bangora climbed out of the gutter, dripping with filth. He looked at Amina with pure terror in his eyes. Let's go, boys, he called to his officers. They got up slowly, groaning with pain, and ran to their vehicle. Wait! Amina called out. They stopped immediately, too afraid to disobey. Before you leave, Amina said, I want you to know something. I have video of everything that just happened. I have video of Madame Gold calling you to arrest an innocent person. I have video of you trying to arrest me without any real crime being committed. Then do your job properly from now on, Amina said firmly. Stop taking bribes. Stop helping wicked people oppress the poor. Be a real police officer, not a criminal in uniform. Can you do that? Yes, I promise. I swear on my mother's grave. Good. Now go and clean yourself up. You smell terrible. Inspector Bangora and his men practically ran out of the compound. Their vehicle sped away so fast. He taught me to defend myself and protect others who cannot protect themselves. She looked around at all the faces watching her. I came to this compound because I heard about Madame Gold. I heard how she treats people. I wanted to see if the stories were true, and they were. Everything I heard was true. She turned to Madame Gold, who was still crying on the ground. But I also learned something else. I learned that sometimes wicked people are wicked because they are hurting inside. Sometimes they are afraid. Sometimes they never learned how to be kind. Amina walked to Madame Gold and knelt beside her. Tell me, I was left with nothing but this house. I was so angry, so hurt. I wanted everyone else to feel the pain I was feeling. So I became wicked. I became the person I am today. The compound was silent. Nobody expected this. Nobody knew Madame Gold had this story buried inside her. Pain is not an excuse to hurt others, Amina said gently. Your husband hurt you, yes. But these people here, they did not hurt you. Sister Comfort did not hurt you. Miss Johnson did not hurt you. Yet you made their lives miserable. You made them suffer for something they did not do. Madame Gold nodded, still crying. I know. But I didn't know how to stop. The anger just grew and grew inside me until it became who I was. Amina helped Madame Gold stand up. It is not too late to change. It is never too late. But you must want to change. You must choose to be different. Madame Gold looked around at all the tenants watching. She saw the fear in their eyes, the hatred, the pain she had caused them, and for the first time in 10 years, she felt shame, real shame. I am sorry. I have been everything a landlady should not be. I don't expect you to forgive me today. But I promise, from this moment, I will change. I will be better. I will be the landlady you deserve. Sister Comfort stepped forward. Tears were running down her face too. We all make mistakes, Madame Gold. We all have pain inside us. If you truly want to change, we will give you a chance. One by one, the other tenants nodded. They had seen something extraordinary today. They had seen a wicked woman broken down and humbled. They had seen the impossible happen. From that day forward, Madame Gold became a different person. She reduced everyone's rent by 30%. She fixed all the broken windows and leaks. Then one morning, Amina packed her small bag and said goodbye. Where are you going? Madame Gold asked, tears in her eyes. There are other places that need help, Amina said with a smile. Other wicked landlords who need to learn their lesson. Other Madame Golds who need to meet their match. She hugged Madame Gold tight. But you don't need me anymore. You have found the kindness inside yourself. That is the greatest power of all. As Amina walked out of the compound gate, every single tenant came out to wave goodbye. They called out blessings. They thanked her. They cried. And their grandchildren. They tell it to remind everyone that wickedness never wins in the end. That there is always someone stronger. That change is always possible, no matter how far you have fallen. And sometimes, late at night, when the compound at number 14 Bomba Street is quiet, you can hear Madame Gold praying. Not for money, not for power, but for the strength to remain. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our stories. Drop a comment below and tell me, what lesson did you learn from Madame Gold's story? Have you ever met someone like Madame Gold who changed their ways? What other African stories do you want to hear next? To everyone who has been with me from the beginning, watching story after story, supporting this channel with your views, likes, comments, and shares, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are the reason I keep bringing these stories to life. You are the reason these African tales continue to inspire, teach, and entertain. Your loyalty means everything to me.